On behalf of the New York Racing Association, it is my honor to welcome Governor Kathy Hochul here to Saratoga Racecourse. The New York racing community thanks you, Governor, for all of your support. We couldn't be celebrating this event in a more fitting location. The Marylou Whitney Pavilion, which was completed in 2021, built to honor Mrs. Whitney's contribution to the backstretch community. Mrs. Whitney and her husband, John, created the Backstretch Appreciation Program by hosting Sunday dinners for this community. Over the years, the program grew to include recreational, social, and educational opportunities for the women and the men living and working at the race course. This beautiful pavilion is now the permanent home of the Appreciation Program. Today, thanks to the dedication of Senator Jordan and Assemblymember Warner, we're here to further cement Mrs. Whitney's legacy with this honor. It is now my pleasure to introduce Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for your leadership of NYRA. It's an important institution that is responsible for an industry that we're extremely proud of here in the state of New York. And I'll say that again, we're proud of this industry because there's very few states that can lay claim to the excitement, the energy, and all the jobs that are created by this industry, which is so important to me personally. So thank you. Also want to thank John Hendrickson. It's been a long journey for you. Your partner, your life partner, Marylou, I just want to thank both of you for your countless contributions to what you've done to this industry and continue to do in her name. So thank you, John. And Heather, is Heather here? Heather, how are you? Heather, the daughter of Marylou and also the chair of the Regional Parks Commission. A lot of responsibility there. Our parks are gorgeous. I check on them all the time. So thank you, Heather, as well. Also, the Commissioner of DOT, Commissioner Dominguez is here. I've seen her every day this week, I think. We were at the Syracuse Fair. We've been at so many events, and I want to thank her for helping make this happen. She is everywhere, and I'm so proud of the work she does and all the great people at the DOT, so thank you. Robert Williams, our Executive Director of the Gaming Commission, thank you for all you do for us. Congressman Tonko, great champion of this industry and this community, too. I want to thank you for your friendship when I served with you in Congress in Washington a long time ago, but also for everything you're doing for this community as well. And of course, our two leaders in the legislature who brought us here today with their vision of how we can make a contribution so the name Marylou Whitney will be forever known by people who travel on our roads here. And I want to thank Carrie Warner for her work and also Daphne Jordan for her work in the Senate. So thanks for getting the job done, ladies. Thank you. I understand we're also joined by the governor from the Virgin Islands. Albert Bryan is here too. Governor, thank you for being here. Add a little more prestige to our event here today up in Saratoga, having the governor of the Virgin Islands. So to all of you who joined us, also we're joined by New York's first gentleman, my husband, Bill, who's right over there. Our daughter, Katie, and her husband, Matt, are joined us, and I'll tell you a little bit about Katie and why I'm so passionate about this sport. So, first of all, I came here often as Lieutenant Governor. Jeff knows we rode the golf cart all around here because I really believe in this place. It's got a magical feel to it, a sense of history, a sense of place, and a sense where people are just so proud to be associated with this. And that's not something everyone has always touted and spoken about, and I'm happy to do that. I literally was at an event at the governor's residence with David Patterson. We talked about our shared passion for this industry. He even told me that his grandfather had been the blacksmith for a horse named Upset that actually upset Man of War. I think it was in 1919, if I've got my history correct. So we were sitting there chatting. I was honoring him by planting a tree in his name on the property, but also we got into the conversation about what I'd be doing here today. So really happy to be here. You know, I was actually here exactly 1 year ago. I had been on the job as governor just, I think, a couple days, and I had the privilege of presenting the Travers Cup. And I was so honored by that, and earlier this year, the Belmont. So I just want you to know, to all of you people who love this business, who love this sport, that I will always be there to represent from the highest levels of our state government, our commitment to this industry as well. Also, today is New York State Breeders' Day, so it's all New York horses here. And why I care about this, but also the fact that one of Marylou's legacies was how she took care of retired thoroughbreds. I'm the grandmother of retired thoroughbred, at least I was. My daughter, Katie, when she was 13 years old, we went to the fairgrounds in Western New York, Erie County, and she loved horses, absolutely loved horses, but we couldn't really afford a horse. We just let her ride horses when she could, took lessons. And all of a sudden, we're at this auction, and this retired thoroughbred comes out, a former racehorse who has some very good lineage. And for $700, I could own a horse. And it seemed like such a deal at the time. What was I thinking, Katie? But I had a 13-year-old daughter. They start heading to that age where you're not quite sure how a teenager's going to turn out. But I knew that the responsibility of caring for an animal, named Max, we loved Max, just lost him a couple years ago. That's how she dedicated her life. And I could see in her a kindness and a sense at even a young age, a sense of responsibility to something else other than herself. So raising that horse, taking care of that horse, converting it from a former racehorse with a very rambunctious manner about him. Every time he heard a sound, he thought he should race. Even if he had my little girl on his back, and he was 17 hands, and I had a heart attack every time she competed. But so I know what this sport can do, but also I'm so grateful for what you and Marylou did to take care of these horses, and to give them a new life, an afterlife. But also what's even means more to me is how you've taken care of the people of the backstretch. For a long time, people who are just come every year, do their jobs, and they leave, but not really getting the recognition they deserve or the treatment they deserved. And that all changed. That all changed because people with heart saw that they're the ones who make this all happen. And they come here and they have children, and they need childcare. And last couple of years, I had a chance to tour the child care facility. Jeff and I talked about this, and I was so touched by the fact that people here care so deeply about the well-being of the children of the people who work here. That struck me. And also even this pavilion, a place of gathering where families come on a Sunday afternoon and share food and the stories of the week. I mean, this is an incredible gathering place named in Marylou's honor as well. So she has an incredible story, larger-than-life presence here. We all know that. I had a chance to meet her when I was a first year or two being lieutenant governor. And everyone says, have you met Marylou? I'm like, I'm intimidated. Like, Marylou? I better really dress up if I'm going to meet Marylou. She was the grande dame of everything here, but she was also a trailblazer. And that's why this means something to me as well, as I know a little bit about being the first. And there's a lot of challenges and pressures. So the work that she did in the racing industry and really paving the path for other women to ascend to significant positions in what had always been a male-dominated sport. So Marylou made profound differences there as well. So her work is recognized by all of us today. It'll be recognized for decades to come when people see her name, not just on this pavilion, but on our highways. And again, for 7 decades, she's one of the most successful owners in thoroughbred racing, and the first woman to breed and own a Kentucky Oaks winner. Very impressive, as well as Belmont Stakes and Travers. So we're proud of her, and I'll just quote Nick Zito, who trained Marylou's Belmont and Travers winners, said, "Racing needs more people like Marylou. There's a lot of people who are considered good people, but she's the real deal. She's a friend you can count on." And said that when you say she's the epitome, when you say she's a legend, the epitome of what that means, she is truly a legend and a friend to so many of us. So I was honored to sign the bill into law that created this way to recognize her and to never forget her, which we never will. She's always in our hearts, because when you come to this community and you come to this track, you'll always be reminded that there was a woman, a strong, strong woman, who made a difference in people's lives, changed this industry, and helped the people make this state so spectacular. So as the governor of the state of New York, I'm very honored to be able to unveil this presentation momentarily, but first let's hear from John Hendrickson. So you've been at her side working to make the difference in people's lives, and to John, we honor you as well. Thank you.
wish you could be here to feel the love. You know, Marylou had a lot of loves, but Saratoga was her first love. She was all about welcoming visitors to this beautiful city, and now this sign is very appropriately going to invite people to stay and enjoy this beautiful town. And so on behalf of Marylou, her family Heather, and her husband Tim Mabey, and the ones that couldn't be here, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This means the world to me.
Please welcome Assemblyperson Carrie Warner and Senator Daphne Jordan.
Good afternoon. This is a day of celebration, a day when we can once again honor our forever First Lady of Saratoga Springs. I want to thank Governor Hochul for recognizing Marylou Whitney and making it a priority to come here when she has a busy schedule for this unveiling ceremony. Thank you, Governor. I also want to thank my legislative colleague, Assemblywoman Carrie Warner, for her work in making sure that our bill passed the Assembly this year. Our bill to designate State Route 9P between I-87 and East Avenue in the city of Saratoga Springs as Marylou Whitney Way. It's befitting that this segment of roadway that leads to and is adjacent to the track be named after Marylou. Our historic Saratoga Racecourse was shaped, strengthened, and supported by Marylou Whitney's generosity. Marylou's advocacy helped our world-renowned racecourse stay open. Her horses were recognized as regular fixtures at the Travers Stakes. She helped the Saratoga meet draw over 1 million annually, and she claimed victories and a distinguished career as an owner. We also know that Marylou was a consequential figure who did philanthropic good works on behalf of backstretch workers and retired thoroughbreds. She was a founding member of SPAC, helped to establish the National Museum of Dance, also worked to restore the National Museum of Racing, and provided years of support for Saratoga Hospital. Through all of these, through her spirit and her kindness, Marylou Whitney played an indelible role in Saratoga's successes. Marylou Whitney Way will forever be associated with Marylou Whitney and the contributions she left to Saratoga Springs.
Thank you, Senator Jordan. It is a pleasure to work with you, and I'm delighted that we are here together today. Governor Hochul, thank you so much for signing this bill into law and for creating this space for us to celebrate Marylou's accomplishments. Commissioner Dominguez, thank you for the work of your team. I said it to you privately, I'm going to say it out loud. Your team is amazing. They are among the best in the state. And Regional Director Barnes, you are a delight to work with. Thank you so much. John, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and that we're honoring Marylou's contributions today is a double pleasure. Today is also Women's Equality Day, and my colleague has reflected on all of the many contributions that Marylou made to Saratoga through her philanthropy and her work here. I would like to just highlight for a moment that she was a woman working in racing at a time when women didn't work in racing. And since her career began in racing, many women have joined the ranks of trainers, of owners, of breeders, of jockeys. And this is an industry that I know celebrates women and embraces women, and I'm looking forward to, by highlighting a first woman of racing, that we will see more young women aspire to a role in racing, whether that's as a groom, a jockey, a trainer, a breeder, an owner, more women in a great sport. That this is not just the sport of kings, but also the sport of queens. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for celebrating the contributions of Marylou Whitney to our city and to this wonderful industry.
If folks could please remain seated for our unveiling.
Oh, Assemblywoman Warner and I have a joint proclamation to present to John Hendrickson, who was at Marylou Whitney's side to do much of this work and continues to do it these past years as well. John?
Please remain seated for our unveiling.